1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. It's your boy, little under the weather, but I'm here for y'all. Your boy Heaven Hollywood, Sports Lives in Hollywood. Whoo! What's up to everybody out there checking in on the IE network? I thank you for hanging around. We're going to discuss some topics what's going on, Iron. I'm going to keep muting my mic because I do have a little cold. But we're going to get into some things, man. We're going to get into Malika Andrews and Stephen A. Smith and this whole Ime Udoka thing, who is splitting what seeming splitting the sports world down the middle. And leave it to ESPN to be on different sides of the spectrum as usual. When ESPN starts employing women to work alongside some of the men that's been working there forever, and some of the men that have strong views on the sports situation. And when you start trying to be politically correct and politically diverse and adding women of color, to the mix, so now you got white women, women of color, biracial, dark skinned women, light skinned women, white women, gay women, gay men. When you start adding all of them together because you're trying to be diverse, you're going to get a show from time to time that is just an absolute mess. An absolute mess. Because a lot of times the people, the personalities that are there, they're always not there to push the agenda of sports. Sometimes they're planted there just so ESPN can say, look, we hired a member of the LGBT community. Look, we hired a dark skinned woman. Look, we hired a black woman. Look, this white woman here isn't racist like early reports. She's working alongside this black woman. They're partners. They're not. There's no racists here. We don't hire racists. So a lot of times, companies like ESPN will hire people just for the optics, just so people can say, "Oh yeah, see they're diverse," but they're not always there to report sports and report sports topics. So you saw incidents in the past with women, you know, going against their team workers, their teammates in the past and throwing their coworkers under the bus because they believed in one thing, the coworkers believed in another thing. It was Michelle Beadle before, basically calling out Stephen A. Smith because they had a different opinion on the Ray Rice situation. If anybody was watching at that time, she literally went off on Stephen A. Smith and accused him of trying to victim blame, saying when Stephen A. Smith said all parties need to keep their hands to themselves. She said, "Oh, Ray Rice is 200 and something pounds. His wife is only 130 pounds." And Stephen A., how dare you say that? Like the women, like you're trying to act like the woman asked to be beaten. When in all the nationality, that's not really what he said. He just said everybody needs to keep their hands to themselves. But Stephen A. Smith, because Michelle Beadle was a white woman, and she was known to be very popular on ESPN with the men, allegedly. They reprimanded Stephen A. Smith. And if you remember, they pulled him off the air. He lost his show. He had to go do his show over at Sirius for a while at Mad Dog TV. And they were going to fire him at one point. Then Michelle Beadle also had an issue with LeBron James. It seemed like these people only have issues with of the opposite color. Then remember, if you remember 2 years ago, they had the ordeal with Rachel Nichols, a white woman, and the black woman. What was her name? Maria Taylor. There was an issue with Rachel Nichols saying, "Oh, they're only trying to give Maria a position just so they can seem diverse." Now, this situation with Ime Udoka, once again, ESPN is having on-air issues, right? They're having on-air issues because, again, you have Malika Andrews, in my opinion, the ultimate pick-me. She's a biracial, very beautiful girl. So I know she's probably used to the men falling all over her and giving her what she wants, right? I know she's used to that. And then when it doesn't happen, there's an issue, right? There's an issue. So Stephen A. Smith, as we know, is the voice and face of ESPN right now. He's the highest paid. He's the one with the highest usage rate. Usually, if there's a big story, no matter what the topic is, usually Stephen A. Smith has something to do with it. So this Ime Udoka, as you know, one thing will get straight, or a couple of things will get straight. Ime Udoka is not married to Nia Long. They are not married. They've never been married. People keep saying, "Oh yeah, he cheated on his wife, Nia Long." He cheated on Nia Long, but Nia Long is not his wife, nor has she ever been his wife. So I just want to make sure we're saying the right thing. All right. So, but she does have a child with him. She does have a child with Ime Udoka. All right. So, in sense, yes, he did cheat on Nia Long. But the bigger issue is who he cheated on Nia Long with. That's the big issue. And that is why we are where we are. It's not the fact that Ime Udoka cheated on Nia Long, even though he should be backslapped just for cheating on Nia Long. Just for the fact that you cheated on Nia Long, sir, you should have been fired on that fact alone. But they are common law married. All right. We'll put it that way. Because I think it's any time over what, 7 years? They've been together like close to 10. So, in a common law situation, if they've been living together, come on. sorry guys, if they've been living together for a certain amount of time, I think it's 7 years, you're considered common law marriage. I don't know whether they've been living together. Oh, come on. Sorry. I don't know whether they've been living together for 7 years, but um, if you are living together 7 years, you're considered common law married. But they do have a child. The issue with Ime Udoka is who he was cheating on Nia Long with, or who he's cheating on his wife with. Now, when this initially came out, it was said that he was having a consensual sexual relationship with someone in the Boston Celtics staff. Now, at this point, the only people that knew about this was Ime Udoka, the woman he was seeing, and the Boston Celtics organization. So you have to wonder to yourself, um, at first, it was only Ime Udoka and the woman. So if this was a consensual relationship and the woman's married, you have to start thinking to yourself, how did the Boston Celtics find out about this affair? Because Ime Udoka is with Nia Long. He's with a public figure. He ain't gonna say nothing. The woman is married. She ain't gonna say nothing. So the first question would be, how did the Boston Celtics find out that Ime Udoka was laying pipe to this chick on the staff? That's the first question, right? That's the first question. How did Boston find out? So now I'm gonna take you to something I heard. Something I heard is just something I heard. Um, there's a guy named Glenn Baby Davis, former Boston Celtic, former Los Angeles Clipper, but he really holds ties to people in the Boston Celtics organization. I hate to throw his name out there, but nowadays you have to tell people where you got it from. Um, but there's a guy named Glenn Baby Davis who's very in touch with the Boston Celtics, right? I spoke to a person that I saw he was connected to. Let me tell you what this person told me. They said that there was a player who was having issues with Ime Udoka during the season. They said this player is signed to a huge contract, right? They were saying that they were bumping heads with Ime Udoka during the season. And they said it was well documented. According to the source I spoke to, that is the person who blew the whistle initially on Ime Udoka and the VP. Now again, this is allegedly. Allegedly, one of the players that was bumping heads with Ime Udoka, right? One of the players that was bumping heads with Ime Udoka during the season, and they said it was well documented. They also said this player is signed to a huge contract. They also said that this player was an instrumental part of the Boston Celtics going to the finals. Now, they also mentioned because of Ime Udoka's hard-nosed playing, and he's all about winning and all about hard-nosed working, hard working. He bumped head with this player a lot. All right, so let's lay that out there. And now, what do you think people are going to do? They're going to pop up the Boston Celtics roster, right? I know I did it. They're going to pop up the Boston Celtics roster and say, who signed to a big contract? Let me share the screen. Right? When you start giving out this information, this generation is computer savvy, right? And this generation is all about the T, right? So I'm looking at the Boston Celtics current roster. And you're saying, who signed to a big deal, right? And who would have an issue with the coach about playing hard or working hard? So you really have four guys that signed to big deals right now. Robert Williams, he's not signed to a huge deal. That's like 49 million. That's not a huge deal. So I'm going to take him out. Jason, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, 77 million. In 25-26, he'll make 21 million. That qualifies as a huge deal. However, Marcus Smart has been all about playing hard. He just won Defensive Player of the Year. So I can't see Marcus Smart bumping heads with Ime Udoka when it comes to playing and working hard. So I'm going to take Marcus Smart out because that's what made Marcus Smart. Right? That's what made Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is about playing hard. So, right, but someone's saying, "Oh, the husband found." Yeah, but the point is, the husband just ain't gonna find out, right? The husband just, I'm sure she wasn't that sloppy, and and I'll get to the husband part. I'll tell you one issue that people that are saying, "Oh, it was with a VP," but if the woman is who they say it is, then they're wrong because from what they're saying, right? So that leaves Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is only signed to the end of 23-24, right? 30 million, but he's only signed to the end of 23-24. The huge deal, right? The huge deal that's left is Jason Tatum. But Jason Tatum, they were saying this dude was jealous of Ime Udoka because word around town is Ime Udoka was, a ladies' guy in Boston. They're whispering that this ain't the only affair. This is just the only one he got caught. They say this ain't the only affair. Hold on 1 second. Okay, thank you. So the news gets out. The only thing is Jason Tatum fits using now Jalen Brown's making 30 million a year too. So that's still considered a huge deal. I never really see Jason Tatum's very non-confrontational. I've never really seen Udoka clashing with Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum, he's the light skin, he's got the good hair. You know what I mean? Young dude. I can't see Jason Tatum being jealous of Yuri Udoka because I'm sure that Jason Tatum's in a committed relationship. I'm sure that any woman that Udi Udoka, whatever Ime Udoka was getting, I'm sure Jason Tatum could pull to. The only guy that I've seen Ime Udoka criticizing on national TV and bumping heads with is Jalen Brown. It's Jalen Brown. So if that rumor is true, that one of the players outed him, if that rumor is true, and they said it is a player who first outed him, who's the one that's always in trade talks? I understand that. Trust me. PYT24. I did my research on it, brother. You're not telling me anything that I don't know. I've already spoken to people, so I know all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about when they found out. This, I'm talking about how they found out. We're not talking about when they found out. I already know that. They actually knew before July. They actually knew in the summertime. They just got spoken to in July. He was allegedly spoken to prior to that. July was just the time that they spoke to him for the second time when the alleged person that he was with ended this relationship. That's the extra news that I got from this person. She ended the relationship when they got spoken to in July. She said, I don't want to do this anymore. Blah, blah, blah. Her and her husband, I guess at that time, worked it out because the alleged person, tweeted in July, we're okay, guys. Talking to her, I think it was on Facebook or what have you, talking to her followers because I guess they were wondering, are these two okay? and she said, "We're okay, guys." That was back in July when she tweeted that. So it was assumed that people found out. Now, this is who, right? This is who people are saying Ime Udoka was creeping with. Kathleen Nemo Lynch, right? This is what they're saying. Let me find it. And this is from Black Sports Online. My boy Robert Littell. Shout out to Robert Littell. That's my guy from a long time. So Black Sports Online is reporting um, that this is the woman. So PYT, let me ask you a question. He got caught in the man's house. How do you know that for sure? Is that something that you heard, or that's that you know for a fact? So because for you to put something like that out there, he got caught in the man. This is the first time I'm hearing this. So did someone tell you that? Because or do you have a channel? Because I can go over to your channel and your report. But this is my platform with all due respect. So I'm going to deliver my report. If you have a report, let me know your channel and I'll come support it since you support my channel. But I'm not going to send out reports and he got women pregnant. This, that. Maybe he did, but that has not been reported. And if you have inside information on this, or are you just guessing and hoping that it comes out true? Because if you had this, if you know this inside information, I'm gonna give you some straight up advice. Don't tell Heaven Hollywood. Go tell TMZ and get a bag for it. If you definitely know this, I would go tell TMZ and get a bag for it. Okay, so again, if you know this information, you need to go tell TMZ because I haven't heard this anywhere. Even the people that are reporting on this tooth and nail, I have. This is the first that I've heard of this. Of course, it's been thrown around. Speculation's been thrown around. He got somebody pregnant. Oh, the only way they would be doing this is if he got somebody pregnant and blah blah blah. Okay, that's speculation. But I don't think is a guaranteed fact, or else it'd be reporting. Anyway, so here's the issue. Kathleen Nemo Lynch, right? With two Celtic staffers, one being Kathleen Nemo Lynch. Now, the problem that people were having was they were saying Catherine Nemo Lynch is the wife of a VP. Um, the other Lynch, the guy Patrick Lynch, but that's not the facts. Patrick Lynch is a VP in um in Boston Celtics, but his wife is not Kathleen Nemo Lynch. See, that's what people why people are putting out failed reports. All right. And this is my guy, incarcerated Bob. Incarcerated Bob. With not one, but two staff members. One deleted all social media accounts. That was Kathleen Nemo Lynch. The other has turned off comments on IG. Both of them were married. One was actually married to a senior VP in Celtics organization who wanted the 1 year suspension. But that is not Kathleen Nemo Lynch's husband, because Kathleen Nemo Lynch is not married to a Boston Celtics VP. Her husband doesn't even work Celtics. He used to, but he was never a VP. So the person who has not been identified, I'm going to assume that the person who hasn't been identified is the VP's wife. Because this woman got identified too quickly. And people are putting out there that she was the VP's wife. Kathleen Lynch is not married to a Boston Celtic VP. That's people putting false information out there. Okay. All right, you guys hear me better? Going off the official reports, they should both be suspended. Now, if it's more information, then why are we not waiting for that to come out before we bash the coach? Okay, that's a good point. So, this Kathleen Nemo Lynch, this is the name, this is the face that's going around. However, it has been reported or researched that she is not married to a VP in Boston. So people were just having her down as the wife married to, but she's not married to a VP. The Lynch that is a VP in Boston is not married to Kathleen Nemo Lynch. But I believe that Kathleen Lynch is at least one of the females, because she started deleting her accounts. She deleted her LinkedIn. When you delete LinkedIn, you guilty. You delete LinkedIn, you guilty. So she started deleting her accounts. But I'm going to say this. I think the woman, if it is two, I think the woman who have not been identified is the VP's wife, because he's going to make it so it's hard to identify his wife, especially if they're still together. Now, what PYT was referring to, yes, I have heard those speculations. There's a speculation that the husband found out. There was speculation talking. So, like I said, everything that PYT was saying, I've heard all these talks. But again, they're just speculation. I can't put it out there as fact because I'm not going to get myself in trouble. But there was speculation that maybe he got someone pregnant, because it is much deeper. If you see Matt Barnes, who looked like he saw a ghost. Matt Barnes was talking real tough at first, but then a couple of the next day, Matt Barnes walked himself and was like, I didn't know all the information. Now that I know all the information, this is 100 times deeper than what we think. And that's when what PYT was saying, that's when you may start thinking those things. Like 100 times worse? Well, what could be worse? A sexual harassment? Did he get the chick pregnant? The husband found out about it? Right? Because when you look at the wording of his suspension, said here, Celtics told him to stop on at least one occasion. Ime Udoka did not take the organization's advice. It reported from incarcerated Bob, which I know, and he reports on sports in Boston. Now, does it mean that he's 100% correct? No, it doesn't mean that. But you start thinking, what does he mean by it's 100 times worse? Now, we got the ultimate pick-me, Malika Andrews, right? The ultimate pick-me. She came on Stephen A. Smith's show. Let me run this down, right? So Malika Andrews decides to come on Stephen A. Smith's show. And basically tell Stephen A. Smith,
portfolios must be built to withstand uncertainty in many forms: economic, cultural, even technological. That's why your portfolio must be built to change.
Let me tell you about. Let me let you hear
and a global
this woman.
perspective.
Can y'all hear that? Hold on. Let me run her back. I'm gonna run her back. Get a lot of buffering going on. Okay. So this is Malika Malika Andrews coming on Stephen A. Smith's show and trying to check him because he said that everybody should be held accountable. Listen to Malika Andrews, who is known as a black woman, even though she is biracial.
Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So that I just want to get that out of the way first. But to answer your question, Molly, I think what stood out to me, I think what stood out to me is that Brad Stevens, he was upset. That's what stood out to me about what he termed.
God forbid Brad Stevens be upset.
Twitter BS is the word that he used.
The white guy.
Were unfairly dragged.
Malika Andrews dates white guys. Just throwing that out there.
Was visibly upset about this, and I also
her boyfriend's
found that to be gross and unnecessary. That folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact. It was purely speculation, and so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more, and short of doing more ahead of this yesterday, they could have owned that responsibility in this press conference. I understand that there were legal parameters that they had to operate within for everybody involved, and I appreciate the fact that they brought in outside counsel and did a thorough organization. I think that that is something that was clearly necessary.
Look how pressed she sounds.
But the fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not,
yeah.
We are not here, Stephen A.
What?
To further blame women.
Wow.
That is not why we are here.
First of all, let me be very clear.
Get us, Stephen.
I don't appreciate where you're going with that.
That's right.
I'm not blaming anybody.
That's right. So first and foremost, I don't appreciate where you're going with this. Absolutely. For her to come on, there's an echo. There's an echo what in the recording? For her to come on, right? Now, am I echoing? Does everybody hear me clearly, or am I echoing? Okay. So if that woman is also a staff member, why shouldn't we ask, why haven't she been blamed? Why isn't she getting suspended? She worked for the Boston Celtics as well. Why is only Ime Udoka getting suspended if this was a consensual situation? Let me go back to Stephen. I love the way he saw it and checked her immediately. See, this is what happens with these bad bitches. And I don't mean to call her a bitch, but I do mean to call her a bitch. This is what happened with these, and this is where I'm all aboard with dark-skinned women when they say light-skinned privilege and pretty privilege. This is the perfect example. Malika Andrews, from the moment she showed up at ESPN, men have been all over her. She's so pretty. She's so gorgeous. She's the light skin, the curly, wavy hair. And she has been just late. She came in and replaced Rachel Nichols, who they got rid of for her comments against Maria Taylor. So Malika Andrews is that she even went and brought her sister on board. And, all the men just pander and flock to them. One thing I like about Stephen A. Smith, and you can say what you want about him, he don't give a damn how bad you are. He don't give a damn how fat your ass is. He don't care how pretty you are. You are not going to come on his show and tell him to stop. This is what I like about Stephen A. Smith. So he don't give a damn how bad Malika Andrews is. How you going to come on his show and say, Stephen A., stop. Just stop. Continue, Stephen A.
But Ime Udoka, he deserves, the fact of the matter is, I said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you.
That's right.
You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number
Get
one.
up.
Number two.
Get up. Get up. Who are you? You're going to come on my show and say, stop? No. This ain't your show. It's my show. You better take that light-skinned, pretty, privileged shit somewhere else. It ain't happening over here. Give a damn what color your eyes is, ho.
I've already said he deserves to be fired, or he deserves to be there and handle it internally and privately. If you're not going to handle it privately, if you're going to publicize it in that fashion, then obviously it provokes everybody wanting to know, okay, well, who are the parties involved?
Thank
When
you.
you have Amina Smith in Boston and other women pointing out the fact that there were women who were wrongly implicated in all of this, it's a disservice to them. I didn't come out with a report about a consensual relationship. I didn't come out with a report ahead of time leaking that they were going to suspend him for the year. They did that. And my point is, considering how pervasive this kind of stuff has existed in professional sports for many years, my whole point is that, excuse me, make sure that you handle it in the same fashion it has always been handled. You could have fired him, and then we could have speculated till the cows come home. But he's gone. But to keep him there, keep him employed, but in the same breath, suspend him for a year, then also that year is indefinite. That is the issue that I have. Nobody's trying to protect Ime Udoka, and certainly nobody is trying to protect, is to excoriate the women involved or anything like that. I'm talking about how things of this matter are usually handled from an HR perspective, from an organizational perspective. That is not consistent with what we have seen throughout the years. That is the only point that I was trying to make. I'm not trying to attack anybody. And if
Thank you. So, first of all, he was not trying to attack any of the women. This Malika Andrews, like I said, I don't know whether she got a crush on Brad Stevens because her current boyfriend is a white dude, and it's just mighty funny. Boston, which is known as one of the most racist cities, it's mighty funny how they were quick to put Ime Udoka's business out there, right? They were quick to put his business out there, but then you want to try to start taking down the staff website and everything else when people go looking for the women. You guys, the Boston Celtics, did not have to tell people that the women, and what was he was even getting suspended for. They could have simply said it was an organizational decision. Ime Udoka has been suspended for a year or indefinitely, and he will be re-evaluated once his suspension is up. That's all they had to say. They didn't have to put out there. You to putting that out there in social media. Hey, Ashanti, you put that out there in social media. What do you think these people in social media are going to do? The same thing they do with everyone else. When there's a rumor of somebody, a public figure, having an affair on their wife, especially somebody as popular as Nia Long, what do you think the first thing people are going to do? Oh, man, let me see. Who did he cheat on Nia Long with? I better Google Holly Berry. If you're going to cheat on Nia Long, let me go find out what this woman looked like that made him cheat on Nia Long. And when I Google who he was cheating on, Kenya Moore better pop up. That's what people are thinking on the other side. That's what I know. That's what the first thing, especially black people, gonna think, because Nia Long is loved by black people. And when they found out that Nia Long was in a relationship with this guy for how long she been in a relationship with him, and then Nia Long get cheated on, hell, it better be somebody to look better than Nia Long. It never is, by the way. Us men, the funny thing is, us men, right? Us men, the funny thing about men is we never cheat. The jump off, 9 times out of 10, don't look as good as the man. The jump off is probably just the one that's letting you nut on her face. The jump off is the one that's probably letting you stick in the butt. The jump off is the one's letting you choke her and slap her and smack your shit all over her. Like, that's what the jump off do. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be funny, Shania, but you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's not all about looks all the time. You're right. But I'm just saying, it's just so funny. Right? It's so funny. You're right, Ashanti. 9 times out of 10, they don't leave the woman. It's so funny that most of the time, the jump off never looks better than your main chick or better than your wife, but they're just most of the time the freaky one. The jump off lets you do all the things the wife don't let you do. So Malika Andrews, right? I'm not even going to let her come back, because then she came back and started speculating about sexual harassment, blah, 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 when it was been reported that it was consensual. All right? It was reported that it was consensual. So now Malika Andrews, she also has a show that she hosts, right? She also has a show that she hosts. She brings Kendrick Perkins on, right? Kendrick Perkins is a former Boston Celtic, right? So he has information. She tried to play Richard Jefferson. She gets heated at Matt, but like all the time. So she's always heated at black men. Always. She's never heated at white men. She's always heated at black men. Let me tell you what she did to Kendrick Perkins now. Because she brings Kendrick Perkins on, and Kendrick Perkins basically agrees with Stephen A. Smith. And he says, you know, all parties should be held accountable. Let's see here. And she didn't think that was going to happen. All right? She didn't think that was going to happen.
Well, one thing, Zach, that you touched on was just this gross
Listen to her.
focus.
She is so hurt
on
that it's happening to these white women.
Unnecessarily women's names that may or may not be involved. And I think it is it isn't too harsh to say that that was a failure by many people, including folks within our own industry. And Brad Stevens actually addressed that today. I want everyone to take some.
We have a lot of talented women in our organization, and I thought yesterday was really hard on them. And I think that, nobody can control Twitter speculation, rampant. But I do think that we, as an organization, have a responsibility to make sure we're there to support them now, because a lot of people were dragged unfairly into that.
I want to bring in our NBA analyst, Kendrick Perkins.
Now, Kendrick Perkins.
Because, Perk, you played for the Celtics organization. What were your thoughts on this?
I'm going to talk about the baby later on, right?
Well, one, to me, I didn't like Brad comments on this, and let me explain why. Not the fact that he was taking up and protecting the women in the organization, but he said about the speculations and the Twitter BS and things of that nature, and how unfair it was to the women in the organization that is not involved with
That's social media, though, brother.
And I get that, right? But why is it speculation? It's speculations because of the reports that were put out by the actual Boston Celtics. So they didn't do a great job from the jump of actually protecting the women in their organization, because knowing that they were going to sit up here and give out this information and go out here and suspend Ime Udoka and talk about, just give a little details, it's going to have people speculating. And in my eyes, I feel like the Boston Celtics dropped the ball not only in protecting their entire franchise, but in protecting the women as well. They should have made sure that they crossed their T's and dotted their I's before they put this information out. And I get it. Now we're to this point, and now he had to go on here and he had to say this and he had to say that to protect those innocent women. But at the end of the day, man, it just ain't right how they went about it. The word accountability, okay? Accountability doesn't just go to Ime Udoka, okay? Accountability goes to the other people that play.
Now watch her cut him off.
Well, let me tell you another thing I didn't like about my good friend Wick Grossbeck and Brad Stevens in this press conference when they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, this relationship, one of these relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is, yes, Ime Udoka was wrong. We get that. His punishment, he deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook? That's the problem that I have right now.
Listen to her.
I think that we need to circle back to what
Kendrick. She cuts the man off. Look at her face. Why are you so pressed? What? Look at her. Why are you so pressed, Malika Andrews? God forbid these black men going after these white women. God forbid we upset Brad Stevens, your white daddy. Like, she cuts Kendrick Perkins off. Look at her face. And then she mutes his mic. And I love this part. She says speculation. Kendrick Perkins is like, I ain't speculating. I got the information. Maybe you were speculating. Oh, my goodness. Hold on.
What Shanae said is that there was an investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here. And without, I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because what we have to
I'm not speculating. I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a one-year suspension. And I share your frustration with the lack of transparency, while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to a conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I thank you for your perspective.
First, she calls.
So, and this is a person commentating on that.
Stephen A. Now she completely shuts Perk down. He had the information, according to him, and that doesn't surprise me at all. Kendrick Perkins is someone well known in the Celtics organization, but she still got upset, shut him down. She took him off the air. This is what happens when you have everybody agree all the time on ESPN.
So, once again, Malika Andrews, with her pick-me self, is taking the side of Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics organization, they want to put all of Ime's business out there. And then when people start searching for the white women so they can drag them, now he wants to start taking down Boston staff websites. He wants to start protecting the women. He doesn't announce whether the woman got suspended or not, because then they're going to know that people are going to start looking like, oh, let's see who got suspended. Let's see which woman took down her social media. Let's see which woman was married to the VP. You can't want to do it for one and not want to do it for the other, sir. And Malika, it's obvious that it was a violation on one side, but not the same on the other. We thank you for your perspective. What? So now you cutting my mic off because I don't agree with what you're saying. Start acting like the woman broke it off and he wouldn't leave it alone. Like, bye. And Ashanti, that's a great take, because that is now what they're trying to say. I think I saw it on, in case you didn't know. I think there's a report now that she wanted to break it off. And this man who has Nia Long at home was so obsessed with this old regular, smegular looking Becky. He was so obsessed with her that he wanted to keep it going. And he said some unwanted comments to her. And then, which in turn, she went back to the Boston Celtics organization. I guess her husband already knew at this point. And reportedly, she went back to the Boston Celtics organization and told them he was saying some unwanted comments towards her. So that's where we are right now. Exactly. I think it was consensual the whole entire time. You got caught with the BBC. Your husband is mad. He's white, and he's mad because you, like most of the white women, not saying all, because there are some white women who don't mess with black men, but like the majority of the white women, you wanted the BBC. You wanted to see how it was, or what have you. Or your husband ain't punching dick in you properly. So you wanted to go with the BBC. And you got caught. That's all. You got caught. So right. Stephen A. Smith, I don't always agree with Stephen A., but he was 100% right on this. So was Perkins. It makes for good conversation. Definitely interesting. Definitely a nice break from the normal stuff that we're talking about. I'm gonna get into some more stuff later, but I appreciate y'all coming through, having the conversation, because this is messy. Our channel is all about celebrity news. And as a Nigerian man, I am ashamed of Ime Udoka. So that's an interesting take. Tox Kasim, before getting out of here, do you want to express why you're ashamed of Ime Udoka? Is it because the woman was white or because he cheated on his wife? It should be, you should be ashamed of, sorry, stop saying his wife. Nia Long was not his wife. So are you ashamed of Ime Udoka because it was a woman who allegedly who wasn't black? You should be ashamed that he's cheating on Nia Long. I don't give a damn if the woman was Puerto Rican, as my grandmother used to say, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees. I don't give a damn. Lebanese. It's the fact that you got Nia Long at home. You should be ashamed of him that he cheated on Nia Long because of the mayonnaise chick, and he should have put a ring on Nia Long. I mean, well, we're not gonna don't do that, Toss. We're not gonna call him mayonnaise and honky, and so we're not gonna do that. But okay, I get what you're saying. But so if he had cheated on her, if he had cheated on her with Halle Berry, you'd have been okay with that? If he would have cheated on her with Beyonce, you'd have been okay with that? I mean, it should be that he cheated on Nia Long anyway. Out there like the ball player. I know, like he out here just slinging dick all over Boston like he the shit. You didn't even win the finals, sir. You got to the finals and got beat. You out here like you Steve Kerr or somebody. But I understand if he had said, "Oh yeah, I cheated on her with Nicki Minaj," right? Well, you would have been okay with that because Nicki's black. No, but we're gonna revisit this when more information comes out. There's a lot of speculation about he may have got someone pregnant. There's still the talk of there being more than one woman. I believe that this Kathleen Lynch is one of the women, but I don't think that's the VP's wife they're talking about. I think there's another woman that probably has not been seen. He probably got them off the website, especially if it's a wife of the VP. She probably got taken off that website real quick. So we're going to revisit later. I appreciate y'all coming through. We know Leah does everything you ask her to when it comes to relationships. So he definitely was cheating because she lacks whatever the side chicks have. Right. Maybe they have muscular body. I'm telling you, Nia, listen, the internet fight. I'm telling you, Dolly, shout out to my assistant, Dolly. Nia Long don't strike me as the one to be like, put it in my ass. She just don't strike me as the put it in my ass. We know she's freaky because Nia do the threesomes. So all you got to do is ask. She'll do the threesomes. Ask Kanye West. At least she used to. Now, maybe as she got older, I don't know, maybe Nia has calmed down. But she definitely, in her 20s and 30s, she was doing the threesomes. You're right, Shania. She was doing the threesomes. So I don't know whether she's still doing them. He might be, usually these jump offs, They let you nut all on their face, do all the nasty shit. That's sucking nasty, bitch. Wesley Pipes. Spit on it. Spit on it. That's nasty. They let you spit in their mouth. Shit that wifey ain't gonna do. Wifey gonna be like, nigga, you. That's like when I was in a relationship with my daughter's mother. She didn't go for none of that nasty shit. Motherfucker, you crazy? You ain't spitting in my mouth, dog. You fucking nuts. So them jump offs be allowing you to do shit like that. Yeah, Nia had she was doing the threesome with allegedly with Kanye and Tracy Ellis Ross, Chris Webber. Jones got several years ago. Which Jones? So is long the reason the Jones got separated? Who you mean? Nasir? Nas? That's the only Jones that I know that got separated. You can let me know down in the comments who you're speaking on. But usually that's how it is with jump offs. I think I'm probably the only person whose jump off looked better than the main girl. The main girl I was dating at that time was facially challenged. But she had a lot of other great qualities. So that's why I even gave her the time of day. But the jump off that I cheated on my woman from Brooklyn when I moved down to Virginia with her, and I cheated on her with the redhead on roller skates. Everybody that's in my live know that story. The roller skating redhead. She looked better than my girl. But my girl was facially challenged. Like, she's the only chick I ever dated that was facially challenged. But she had so many other qualities that's why I fucked with her. She had 2 cars. She had her own place. Like, she had her own house. She had 2 whips. Like, she didn't have a bad reputation. She was a teacher. Like, she went to work and came home. You know what I mean? But she was facially challenged. She was the type that, like, on her best day, made up. She was like, at her best, she was like a 6.5. But you're right. It really wasn't about looks with her. It really wasn't about looks with her. She was like a good person. She treated me good, right? She could cook her ass off. Oh, she was a great cook. You know what I mean? She liked to have fun. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I thank y'all. We're going to pick this back up at a later date. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood. Thank y'all for coming to the live versions, my first live version of Sports Live in Hollywood. So, I'll catch y'all on the next one.